Oh, hi there. Today I'd like to talk about International Women's Day and what I gathered from it on the news. Um, the gist of it is it was a load of wank. It was a bunch of whining, complaining, and nagging, mostly from feminist women, or a lot of them are lesbians, and they've got a really miserable outlook on life. Um, One of the women speakers in Parliament today was a woman by the name of Sarash Hassan. She is a Muslim woman. Um, I guess she had a bit of a hard life. That's not unique. A lot of people have had hard lives. Um, the thing is, it plays to the advantage of the government. This is the song they want to sing right now, and they're determined. Every day this sort of stuff is on the news. In fact, it's not really news anymore. It's just them pounding home the same simplistic message over and over again. What did she say? She said, "In a country I call my own, my identity is challenged and my actions are heavily scrutinized. I am simultaneously silenced into shame while being expected to apologize for the actions of a small group of people that do not represent me." Well, I could say the same sort of thing in different contexts. Uh, I don't believe that I should be heavily scrutinized because I'm proud to be white. Uh, the news made it quite clear that to mention her as a person of color, and what this whole argument is geared towards is an anti-white agenda. That's what feminism really is. It's the ugly face of feminism. Is it's anti-male, and when they use terms like Islamophobia or xenophobia and things like that, they're really words against us. And I mean, Sarash Hassan, she's able to do this in Canada, have this speech in Parliament. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, if you're white, you're likely to be killed just because they think you're an American, regardless if you actually are one or not. I mean, there isn't really a whole lot of difference, but that's not the point. The fact that she had the opportunity to speak out and attain the success that she has really says something about this country. So I don't like the miserable tone that came out of her voice. I don't know what she went through, and to be honest with you, I don't care. Because a lot of people have to go through hard times, and they don't have success stories at the end of it. Sometimes things just don't work out for them. And if you want to climb to the top and then be a misery guts and then spoil International Women's Day by, instead of having a positive tune, instead of having something interesting to say, you drag it down to your level. You be selfish. You think about yourself. Well, if you want to celebrate International Women's Day by being miserable, then go buy a bottle of scotch and go do it on your own. Or with company of people who also like to be miserable. Because you can count me out. I've had plenty of opportunity to be miserable in my life, and I've opted not to be because I don't like being miserable. I prefer being happy. I don't smile so often as I'd like, and I would like to laugh a bit more, but I'm not a whiny crybaby. And let's talk about what else she said. She said, challenge a growing culture of ignorance rather than justifying xenophobia and prejudice under the veil of free speech. If you had been watching the news, you would know that there is a growing culture of ignorance, and it is exactly what the media is portraying it as towards us, the viewers, by pounding home the simplistic messages that they keep doing. They keep calling us the xenophobes, and they keep saying we're the prejudiced ones over and over again, trying to guilt trip us when most of us just live ordinary lives. We go to work, we have our leisure activities, we go out and, I don't know, see movies, go to restaurants, do regular stuff, and all of a sudden, these actions of a small group of people that do not represent me or us is our fault, and we have to apologize for it. The wars going on overseas are done because of people from the country you came from, Miss Sarash Hassan, where there are people in power who hate us. They hate everything we have, they want to take it from us, and they want to tell us what to do. And George Bush was right when he said they are trying to acquire weapons of mass destruction. And these sketchy countries in the Middle East, they will actually use them if they ever have the chance. And that's a concept that a lot of Canadians just don't understand. That there are a small group of people that run the show in those countries that primarily the Americans are fighting right now, that would use weapons of mass destruction against us. So the whole segment I got from what she had to say can be taken out of context, and it could be applied to different things, and it could be said by different people for different reasons. Under a veil of free speech. Yeah, that's quite funny considering she was wearing hijab. Okay, what else? They made it a point to talk about indigenous rights. Of course they did. Continue on the misery. Leanna Rice spoke up about her contemplating or whatever suicide 3 years ago, and how she only had her brother to comfort her. And then he committed suicide something like 7 months ago. As I said, there have been plenty of times where I could have been miserable, and I chose not to be, because I wanted to be successful. I wanted to try my best and overcome the odds. And these people who think, ooh, I'm going to self-harm, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, and they deserve to get, publicity for it. They deserve to get recognized for it. They deserve to be patted on the back and congratulated for triumphing their own incompetence and own blithering misery. And then are rewarded by it. Not because the people who are rewarding them are nice, not because they care, but because it suits their political goals. The agenda of the government right now, particularly in Canada, is to not only demonize the Americans, but demonize Canadians who actually are Canadians, not refugees. A refugee is not a Canadian. And there are going to be people who disagree with me, but I got news for you. I disagree with you. So we're just going to have to agree to disagree. And that would be a problem for you if there weren't more of us. Anyway, what else got said? Oh, the Green Party leader, what's her name? Elizabeth May. She went on, women helping women, and mentoring is the key to our success as women. Well, that's odd. A lot of successful women got to where they are by sleeping with a man, and then stabbing him in the back, and stealing all his money. Like Hillary Clinton, for example. Would she be anywhere where she is today if she wasn't married to Bill Clinton? I doubt it. And she had all these guys in her pocket, and she still couldn't get it done to become president. She had most of the Republican Party. She had Barack Obama. She had Bill Clinton. George Bush didn't like Donald Trump. So many people hated on Donald Trump. And sure, he says mean-spirited things, and he can be rude. But she's rude, and she's prejudiced, and she's discriminatory. Just in a different way. You don't have to shout, swear, and use racial slurs to be prejudiced. In fact, it can be more effective if you don't do any of that at all. If you just kind of subtly take people's freedoms away from them. And somebody said that before. Well, I forget who. It doesn't matter. Take their freedoms away slowly, and then they won't notice that they're gone until it's too late. Somebody said that. I forget who. Anyway, that's not important. What else got said? The interim conservative leader, Rona Ambrose, had something to say. She said, sexual assault training should be mandatory for lawyers who want to be federal judges. I don't know what that means. Could very well be a lesbian conspiracy. I really have no idea what that is. If someone could enlighten me, that would be nice. I haven't researched it too much, to be honest with you. This is a very, very boring topic. This isn't cool. This is just whining and complaining, and I ain't got no respect for whining and complaining. And what's here with that mangina Prime Minister Trudeau had to say? If everyone had just agreed and we'd moved on, maybe we wouldn't be addressing the very scary and real spike in hate speech. Ugh, not this again, man. There is no spike in hate speech. In the sense that what he means, because there is a growing culture of people who, the second you say something that's not politically correct, that can be construed as being vulgar and evil, then you are immediately put in a corner. You are immediately ignored. Nobody pays attention to you. Nobody likes you. And that can happen at the blink of an eye. And it does all the time for people who are white and proud. And if they want to be that way, we don't need them. That's how they feel about us. They've judged us white guys that feel proud to be white as neo-Nazis. And therefore, we're responsible for the Holocaust and everything bad that happened there. And we have to eat this disgusting vegetable on our plate, which is the new ideology that's trying to take over as the main theme that goes on in our country. The main idea, the main propaganda machine, the main story, and the main set in people's minds. So anyway, Trudeau also went on to say, do we have a problem with Islamophobia and anti-Semitism? You could say that, but you could also say that we have a problem with prejudice. And prejudice comes in many forms. And most people, in one way or another, are prejudiced about something. They're intolerant. They can't stand certain things, like being white and proud. Including other white people are like that too. They've just been conditioned their whole lives to see someone who's white and who's proud of that as being a neo-Nazi, and then therefore all the bad things, every bad thing that accompanies every single thing that's happened throughout history to or for people who are proud to be white, and they pile it all together, and you're blamed for everything bad that's happened. I worded that badly, but anyway. Just, not much was said today. Nothing of real interest. I'm surprised I've been able to talk about it as long as I have. This is just not an interesting subject for me. I hope next year on International Women's Day they have some stories of success, and they have stories of that captivate, that have great interest, that are cool, and they don't have to whine and complain on the day. They should be celebrating. And because these amazing stories are out there of women doing incredible things, and really doing well. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to add. The NDP leader, Tom Auclair, whined about affordable childcare and things like that. The thing is, he was stating that women shouldn't have to sacrifice their careers to raise children and all that. Yeah, let's let government raise them. Let's let childcare providers that you don't know who they are raise your child. No. The idea, it's not really a man's job to raise a child immediately. As soon as they're old enough to hold a hockey stick and wear a jersey and hate people for wearing different jerseys, then that's really when the man can step in. But for the immediate sense, it's more of a woman's job. Sure, they have to sacrifice their careers, but raising the child is more important than a career working for some asshole. So, use your brains, people. Anyway, I've said all I want to say, and I also have to use the washroom. So, gonna end this video. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one.